My name's CJ, and I'm a social media practitioner. Yes, my favourite job title is social media adventurer and explorer. I was a stage manager, so I used to work in the arts industry, finding resources for stage shows, and I now help arts organisations find digital resources to help them communicate better.
Okay, so how do you think today is going so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I have to admit, I was a little bit cynical. I wasn't quite sure what I was coming to. The social media community are really supportive, and it's one of the things that I've really liked about it, having spent a lot of time touring around the country very isolated. First of all got mobile phone, and that was great to keep in touch at home, but actually maintaining friendships when you're touring around doing a job was very, very difficult. So finding social media and being able to keep in touch with people has been a really important thing for me. So a lot of the people who are here today come to support Phil Campbell, and also sort of found out about Conker through that. And just being able to come and meet up with people has just been a really important thing for me. And it was some sort of eco people can be a bit evangelical, just like social media people can be a bit evangelical. And I thought, see what it's about. But I've been really, really intrigued and really interested by the connections between online digital communities and how you ignite those, and the same issues that are going on with offline eco communities, that communities are only as powerful as the people who take part in them, and driving through that apathy of getting people to live sustainably is a really tricky thing. So now I'm really finding I'm getting more out of it than I thought I would.
So are you a Twitter fan then?
I am a Twitter fan. I came to Twitter as more of my job as a method of communicating than as a tweeter myself. So I kind of have a strange perspective of social media, because I very much approach it in how can I help organisations communicate better. So the tools that come along to me, like Twitter, are the easiest ways to communicate. So as a back channel to events, so today people are using the hashtag ConkerTU, and just putting comments on the web to amplify this event. So there's attending events like this as a delegate, which I want to come along and I want to learn what I can. But there's also part of me that wants to help my network and the community that follow me and that I follow know what I'm interested in. So being able to amplify events using Twitter is something that I'm really interested in, and it's what I do a lot in my job. So I spend a lot of time curating conversations online, so helping people who can't be at an event but are interested can follow the chat, follow the conversation, know that there's somebody actually reading what they're writing, and then on quite a lot of times people actually asking questions that can then be relayed to the event. So there is that way of participating at a distance, and I think especially for eco is really important, being able to detach ourselves from having to be fleshy all the time. It is essential to be there and see people, but sometimes if you can be evolved digitally, being able to make that balance.
Still feel part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think Twitter was important in getting these people here today and having the success it has had today?
Yeah, definitely. I think with Twitter, the wonderful thing about Twitter is it's the bits of your life that happen between the blogging and the news stories. So news stories get written about events and people blog about the reflection of their day, but Twitter is the little bits and pieces, the nuts and bolts that hold the day together that aren't interesting enough to blog about. So it can be interesting that somebody is in London and in a particular cafe in a train station. You think, well, who's interested in that? But actually what that person is saying is, this is where I am. If you are nearby, come and join me for coffee. People who are saying, right, well, I'm off to bed now. It's the point in their day, they're letting people know what their routine is. So Twitter's very much about picking up on people's routines. I've come here today, there's two people at Hetwich on Twitter, I can't remember their Twitter names now, but there's people who have come here. I've only met them once or twice, very briefly, but as soon as we meet, there's a connection straight away, saying, you know, oh, not seeing you for ages, but I know what they've been doing. I know where they've been. I know that they've been on holiday. I know, you know, if their family's been well or if they've been ill or other events that they've been to, and used hashtags, so I've been able to follow what they're doing. So here we meet up at a Tweetup, and sort of catching up and reminiscing is just something that, especially when I was touring the UK with theatre companies, there was that detachment and that dysfunction that everything was a beginning and end. But with Twitter, it's more of it's a gradual path, it's a continuing journey, and I think Twitter is what links all those journeys together for people.